Hello my royal lovelies, welcome back to the channel and as always welcome to my home. I hope you're all having a fabulous weekend and a very happy Sunday. In fact, I've just put a picture of a bed behind because some of you might be having a little bit of a sleep in. Anyway, we had some fabulous news, unexpected but fabulous news over the weekend regarding His Majesty the King. So I want to talk about that first before we move on to other things. So I'm going to read directly from the royal family Twitter account, or rather X account as it is known now, and we'll discuss it in a little bit more detail. So the royal family, Buckingham Palace, put out, His Majesty the King will shortly return to public-facing duties after a period of treatment and recuperation following his recent cancer diagnosis. So to help mark this milestone, the King and Queen will make a joint visit to a cancer treatment centre next Tuesday, where they will meet medical specialists and patients. This visit will be the first in a number of external engagements His Majesty will undertake in the weeks ahead. In addition, the King and Queen will host their Majesties the Emperor and the Empress of Japan for a state visit in June. Yay! At the request of His Majesty's government. As the first anniversary of the coronation approaches, their Majesties remain deeply grateful for the many kindness and good wishes they have received from around the world throughout the joys and the challenges of the past year. And they also included a beautiful picture of the King and the Queen. So, fabulous news, one that we weren't necessarily expecting to come this weekend, that we were hoping was going to come eventually, but it came. The King is returning to public-facing duties. So I think that is a big milestone in his recovery. I'm not quite sure whether or not treatment has actually ceased and he's in that kind of, phase where you kind of wait and see and monitor what happens. So I'm not sure entirely whether treatment has finished, but we know that he is certainly well enough to start public-facing duties. I would imagine Trooping the Colour is probably looking more likely to be back on the cards, with the King attending fully, as he would normally. A great announcement about a state visit for the Emperor and Empress of Japan visiting the UK. Will we get finally a chance to see the royal family order of King Charles III? Let's hope so, and let's hope that Catherine can also be in attendance. So we do know that the royal family are putting out statements of this nature when it's appropriate to do so. So with regards to Catherine, perhaps there will be something forthcoming in the near future when she reaches that point when she can do that. So at the moment, I'm thinking no news is good news regarding Catherine. We also saw King Charles at Balmoral today. So I'm not entirely sure if he is residing in the main Balmoral Castle or whether he is in the nearby Burke Hall, which was the former Queen Mother's home at Balmoral, which he's lived in ever since she passed. And he actually kind of prefers that home to the main castle of Balmoral. So I'm thinking maybe he's staying at Burke Hall with the Queen. Anyway, we saw him arriving at Craffy Kirk Church by car for Sunday service. And I think he's looking like there's a little bit more colour in his face over the past, several photos we've had of him, or sightings, if you like. He's looked a little pale. I think there's some colour returning. I think he's looking a lot more like his father, the Duke of Edinburgh, these days. Of course, the late Duke of Edinburgh, not the current Duke of Edinburgh, his brother. I will make that distinction. But I think he's looking well. Queen Camilla was smiling and laughing, burst into a radiant smile. So I think things are most definitely looking good for the King and Queen right now. Fingers crossed. Prince Harry, he is returning to the UK. It has been confirmed by We Are Invictus for the Invictus Games. They say he will be in London to attend in person the 10-year anniversary of the Invictus Games. And this will be a service at St Paul's Cathedral on the 8th of May. So this is like a celebration of the 10-year anniversary, which I think, is definitely a milestone. So along with Invictus competitors, the Duke of Sussex will give a reading and actor Damian Lewis will recite the Invictus poem. Right. So no mention that he may be bringing the monster of Montecito along with him. Of course, I'm talking about Meghan, his wife. So I don't personally think she'll be coming. I think she is trying to stay away from the UK as much as is practically possible. And I think she has real fears about boos, about being booed and, I suppose, mocked in public. And I think, a lot of people are latching on now that we know that Harry is coming. Perhaps there will even be maybe some protests outside of St Paul's Cathedral. Now, we do have to remember that this is, in honour of a good cause. And I am never, ever, ever going to sit here and poo-poo a charity that celebrates war veterans, war heroes. Now, we know that Harry basically, stole the idea from America and then brought it to the UK and kind of repackaged it. It is the Warrior Games in the US and then repackaged it as the Invictus Games in the UK. But, it still helps and support lots of war veterans who have served their country. So I'm never ever going to poo-poo that. But, the shadow of Harry does, it does cast, the figure of Harry casts a shadow over Invictus, especially with his PR being at such a low state right now. I mean, we saw in the US the extraordinary sight of Harry standing there in his medals, where, he was, shouldn't it have been a US veteran who presented the award to a US serviceman? Why Harry? I mean, that just seems preposterous. Now, we know that when it comes... No, Harry was wearing one of his own tour medal that he received for his tour of Afghanistan. So that was a well-earned medal. But the other three were kind of what you would call participation medals. So we had the different Jubilee medals. So members of the royal family would receive, who are entitled to wear medals, of course, would receive medals to kind of, show that they have been a part of the different Jubilees. And there is also a coronation of King Charles III medal as well. So we often see, for example, Prince William will wear the same thing. He'll wear his kind of participation medals, if you like. The difference, of course, here is that when a member of the royal family wears it as a working member of the royal family, they are doing so to represent their country, represent the family. So it seems appropriate for them to do so. So if we see William wearing those medals, it's not a double standard. I'm not sitting here saying William also looks silly wearing participation medals. No, he doesn't. He's doing it as a working member of the royal family, representing family and country. So it's a very, very different proposition to Harry, who is, not even an American citizen, presenting an award to an American citizen wearing British participation medals. If I was Harry, I think I would have just chosen to have worn his own Afghanistan medal. I think that would have been more appropriate. I mean, I still don't know why he was asked to do that in the first place. But to wear the other medals, I think just looked silly. It just looked like, what are you doing? Are you trying to pass off that you had more achievements than what you actually have? I'm not poo-pooing his achievement in Afghanistan, but it kind of makes him look more impressive. And of course, most of the American audience aren't going to be aware that all of the medals are not service medals, that they are sort of these participation medals. So I think he's trying to fool the American audience. And I know a lot of you guys watching will know the real deal, will know exactly what's going on, but most people won't. So I think it's important that there are videos like this that kind of, say exactly what those medals are. There was an absence of the coronation medal. Now, we do not... Well, it's either one of two things. It's either Harry has the coronation medal and therefore has chosen not to wear it. Then we need to look at, well, why would you choose not to wear it? Is it because he doesn't want to use his father to promote something that's, an American award. Although he doesn't seem to really have much trouble with using his royal connections to promote himself and his business endeavours in the past. So I don't think it's that one. Or is it because he's got the hump with his father and therefore does not want to wear his father's coronation medal? I'm just saying that could be a possibility. Or the other very distinct possibility is that Harry doesn't have one, and that there is no coronation medal that has been presented to Harry to wear, that Harry has been snubbed by the royal family or the institution. And I don't know exactly which one it is. I don't think anyone truly knows. But I think, as always with these royal stories, the truth will out in the end. So the next story is a little bit of an intriguing one. I'm not quite entirely sure how this is going to pan out, but there are rumours that Meghan and the American Riviera Orchard and the Netflix TV show may become a little bit more, ingrained with each other than what we originally thought. So Meghan has so far, I do believe, failed to find a chief executive for her new cooking and lifestyle business, American Riviera Orchard. And of course, I do believe filming may even have started for the cooking show. So the initial CEO search has not panned out so far, a Californian-based source has said. And her apparent difficulties have led to an intriguing new development. Meghan has begun negotiations with Netflix about the American streaming giant entering into a commercial partnership with American Riviera Orchard. This is something new for Netflix, the source said. It would run the lifestyle business with Meghan, developing products as spin-offs from her show. It's turning into QVC, isn't it, my loves? If a partnership is agreed, it's likely that Netflix would install its own CEO to run operations. Wow. Now this, I suppose, the model has been done in the past with a different TV network. HGTV, partnered with Joanna Gaines for something very, very, very similar. I think for me, this is kind of what I've been saying for a long time. Harry and Meghan, they just put their names to things, and they don't do the hard work. Meghan, it turns out, is actually, I think, pretty scared of hard work, or she doesn't have the capacity or know-how of how to run a production company. It was the same with Spotify. The output for Spotify was completely disastrous because they couldn't produce what they sort of promised, I think, that they could. The same, I think, goes with this. I think Netflix was always just trying to limitate. They were trying to get whatever they can out of Harry and Meghan. It's like trying to get blood out of a stone, isn't it, my loves? Archewell Productions, in my mind, couldn't produce a piece of toast. It really couldn't. And I think this is the same. Netflix, I think, will be looking to basically do all of the work, and then Archewell Productions will just put its name to it, Harry and Meghan taking credit for someone else's work. What's new there? And I think that's the way we're going. Netflix is going to want to recoup its losses. So having a partnership where it can, try and sell these products that are going to be featured in the cooking show may be a way for them of trying to claw back the money. Now, I don't think personally that these things are going to particularly sell, especially if the price point is this kind of luxury price point. On the one hand, you can't sell, $100 jars of jam if that's what she's going to retail them at or something similar, and then have a line of really cheap products. It kind of wishy-washies the brand. Are you an expensive luxury brand, or are you a cheap, pile 'em high, sell 'em cheap sort of brand? If Meghan is going to stick with luxury, high-end luxury, where, jars of jam are $50, $100, whatever it might be, trying to sell them on Netflix is not probably going to be the right marketplace to do so. So I think this is a long shot, but it does go to show, I think, Meghan's difficulty in finding staff. We know she's got the new 2 lackeys, communication guy lackeys working for her, but no one ever really lasts that long in the Markle household, do they? Look at the person that turned and ran during the African tour. They didn't even last out the tour and turned and ran because of whatever they saw in terms of bad behaviour from Harry and Meghan. So I think basically nobody wants to work with them, and this is the difficulty in finding a CEO for American Riviera Orchard. Do I think this thing will get off the ground at all? Yes, I think with Netflix's financial backing, I think it will. With Netflix's drive to get this out there, yes, I think it will. Left just solely to Harry and Meghan to produce, then no, it would be a soggy bowl of cereal left for 5 months or something of that nature. We all know how Spotify went, and Netflix, it's going the same way. It's definitely going that way. Thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, then please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media, and of course do hit that bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. So from me, until next time, to you all, and goodbye.
Clutch my pearls, she lies. Moon bumps dropping to the floor. Mental health crisis, girl, you were born. We don't believe you, Meghan, you lie. Stress and feeling lives right before they die. Clutch my pearls.